is this amazing virtual workshop that is happening on Monday, September 2nd, 2024 from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. But don't worry, there's a time zone converter if you go to that link, storycrossroads.org/all-things-story. And you probably noticed that there is Kim Weitkamp. She is teaching Boost Your Business. Now, what that means is you as a storyteller, an author, a performer, really, if you simply want more gigs or more ways to kind of think, how can I connect better with venues or people who would hire, this would be the chance. It can actually be very much tailored. In fact, Kim, let us know about what is meant by you're going to tailor it to whoever shows up. What are some of the topics that people might throw out there, but it is not the end of the list?
Well, we send out, well, you help me send out a questionnaire to every participant, and they turn that back in, and it lets me know what their current biggest hurdles are that they're struggling with, where they see their self, where they'd like to see their self. And then there's even an area where you can put any question that you want. I gather that before the workshop so that we get very targeted training according to what people want. Now, any artist can come and they're going to get some tools, but this is really slanted towards storytellers. A lot of times the things that I'm asked are even, what do I charge? Or how do I get into more regional venues? Or they ask questions about festivals. It can be anything. It can be about their branding, which a lot of people, artists, don't even know how to brand themselves. So it's just the gamut. But I really like to get the questions so that I can give the group that comes into this exactly what they need.
Right. And that's what makes it so beautiful that virtual live is going to be the best way for this. However, even if you're getting the recordings later, you still get that questionnaire. You can still have that question to Kim and she can address that, which I think is just amazing. And then besides that, you have been doing this kind of business for so long. So there are the mistakes that you've had, there's been the successes you've had. Is there maybe one or two mistakes that kind of pop up to your head of something that we can get a tease of to know about?
There's so many. Oh,
Only
and
one or two.
that's why I'm super free with what I've learned and the knowledge I've gained. Not that I know everything, or that in no way am I saying that, but because I didn't have anybody, and there were so many things I wanted to ask or know that I had to find out the hard way. I think that the way I went about contacting theaters, because I had no knowledge of how to do that, I learned the hard way on that one. Theaters or event venues that brought in like B-level artists, right? You know what I mean by that. And so I learned the hard way on that one and have, I feel, gotten that down pretty well. And also understanding your network of people, people who aren't even in storytelling, but understanding the network that you already have. I think I had in the beginning kept that so separate in my mind. And after I'd say the first year, had an epiphany and tapped into that and got a lot of work. So, we can cover that maybe. It depends on what people are asking. But those are probably the two main areas I can think of. There's several areas where I wish I would have done a little better, but I was learning. It's not hard, it's just new. And after I got over the new and learned the rhythm and how it worked, it, kind of blossomed.
Now, you said that you really didn't have anyone to ask these questions of. I mean, obviously, as a storyteller or an artist or whoever you may be, sometimes we can feel alone or solo. So how can someone not feel alone? I mean, obviously coming to this workshop, people, yeah, come join. But how else can people not feel alone in this kind of business where, yes, you have an audience, but you're kind of alone as an artist?
Mhm. Find somebody that's ahead in the game, you know, just further than you, that have walked the path ahead of you a little ways, and ask them questions. You know, you want to be careful because there are some people that that's just mentoring or doing this kind of thing is not their gig, and you freak them out and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to take somebody on." So you just be careful. But to ask one simple question, one simple question. There was a storyteller at a festival that I was at as a regional teller, and they were sitting at a picnic table, and I walked over and you could just see it. They're so sweet. To this day we're close, but you could just see them like, oh boy, they had no clue who I was, and they were trying to eat. They were trying to have a break. They wanted to just rest. And I said to them, I just have one question. And I asked it, and they turned, they gave me a phenomenal answer that I still remind them today. And then I left them alone. So there are ways to tap into that, but the best way is if there's someone you're already friends with who you respect and who you think would like to do a gentle mentorship, because you know usually you should pay for that, or even just a friend who can give you friendly advice, just always make sure that they've walked the path you want to walk on. If you're talking to somebody at the same level, that's good support, but are they going to be able to boost you where you need to go? And just, you know, most of us as storytellers or even artists seem to have a pretty good sense with people, and you can tell pretty quick who's willing to step up and kind of just give you a little bit of help, a little bit of good advice. But that's what I recommend, especially somebody in your area that you can have coffee with once a month. There's a published several books author near me, and I reached out to her. And after some conversation and then a Zoom meeting, we meet once a month, and I gain from her way more than I could get anywhere, but she was willing. But if she wasn't, I was fine with just an email.
Right. Well, and this is exactly why this is your chance. If you're like, oh man, I'm too nervous to kind of approach someone and ask that one question. Well, come on Monday, September 2nd, 2024. Yes, that is Labor Day in the United States, but we're still meeting 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Again, that link, storycrossroads.org/all things stories, will get you a time zone converter, can get you registered. If you can't make it virtual live, you can still fill out that questionnaire and make it happen. If you suddenly sign up the day of and there's not time for Kim to review that, I'm sure that you'll still get those answers that you are looking for. So please don't have that be what hinders you in this. We'll
And there's going to be a chat
yeah. And
if
there
they
will
want to.
be a chat. Yes, and we send to all registrants the saved chat on top of everything else. So that's always lovely too. So you're going to want to sign up now and join us. We're just going to have fun with Boost Your Business with Kim Weitkamp. Until we tell again.
See you soon.